With me now, Trump supporter Betsy McCaughey and Grelsa Martinez, Advocacy Director for the United We Dream Network. Welcome to both of you. Betsy, I'd like to start with you. Kellyanne Conway, Trump's campaign manager, says Mr. Trump's updated immigration plan does not involve a deportation force for the 11 million undocumented people in the United States. That was Mr. Trump's signature issue, so why is he pivoting if he's pivoting?
I don't believe he's pivoting, but I would say he is prioritizing, as all leaders do. Top priority, removing hardened criminals who are illegal aliens. Number two, building the wall to stop the flow of drugs and drug trafficking gangs into this country. And
well, going back to the deportation force for just a second, because I want to concentrate on that. So what is his stand on that, Betsy?
Well, he met with Hispanic leaders a week ago. He has met with many members of Congress about this.
Right, so what's his stand?
It would require congressional action. And let me point out,
he would want to get the deportation force okayed by Congress before he implements it? Is that it?
Obviously, there are three branches of government. Creating and funding a deportation force would require action by Congress. There's no question about that.
So Grelsa, in your mind, is this a more humane way to do things?
You know, I choose facts above Trump fiction, and the fact is that Trump has been going after me and my family since day one of his candidacy, and he has promised mass deportation. Now, his campaign might be saying, and his surrogates like this morning might be saying that there's no pivot, that it's the same thing, but the reality is that it's not. And he has been saying from day one that he wants to deport people like myself. He wants to take away the birthright citizenship of people like my sister. And, you know, he also stands alone. The majority of the American public believe that my mother and I deserve a pathway to citizenship. And so it's erratic and not very understandable, like most of his campaign and his policy positions.
And before we go on with Grace's, like, Mr. Trump is going to give his big immigration speech in Arizona, and I just want to read you the stats from what voters are thinking within the state of Arizona. Mrs. Clinton is leading Mr. Trump with Hispanic voters in Arizona by 37 points. So obviously what Mr. Trump is selling on his immigration isn't really flying among at least Hispanic voters in Arizona. Betsy?
Yeah, I would like to address that. First of all, people who come here legally want the law enforced, whether they're Hispanic or Chinese or Italian, wherever they come from. They respect the rule of law. They waited in line themselves, and they expect everyone else to do that. I received an email yesterday, as I often do, from a woman in Florida who was very upset. She took her mother to the emergency room. Her mother's on Medicare, and she told me what I hear every day, that the emergency rooms are scrimping on people on Medicare because the emergency rooms are so overwhelmed with illegal immigrants. And the signs on the emergency room door, just let me finish, say that illegal immigrants must be treated. So the fact, as sympathetic as I am to anyone who needs health care, the fact is that the nation cannot take care of the entire world.
So you're
and
saying
the cost of illegal immigration
to get out? Is that what you're saying?
I am saying that people who come here illegally should not be eligible for all the benefits that American citizens and those who have paid in.
Are you saying that Grelsa should get out?
Yes, I am saying that. I am saying that people who came here illegally should not benefit from, and both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton originally said that illegal immigrants would not receive health benefits. Now both of them have switched. The Obama administration is spending billions on health benefits for illegal immigrants, and Mrs. Clinton has flip-flopped and said they should get them.
You just told her she should be out of the country.
That's right.
So let her respond.
Betsy, I am appalled by what you just said on national television, that people like myself and like my mother and dreamers all across the country should leave, because that puts you in the minority. 84% of the American public believe that I belong here, and they know the gifts that we bring to this country. And so you have just defined yourself as a Trump clan member, someone that believes in the xenophobic vision that Trump has for this country. And the reality is that in November you're going to lose, and that vision is going to lose, because the American public, and as a Latina, I know what is important to our people, and that is safety, that is economic opportunity, and that means the ability to live happily and safely in your home. And the things that you just laid out are the complete opposite of that.
Well, Gracia, I'm very sympathetic to you, but I don't identify myself as anything but an American, and I would hope that if you were here, you would identify yourself as an American. The fact is that we need to have the rule of law here, and in addition, if we want real economic opportunity, we need to make sure that the people who are already here get jobs before we have open borders and try to take care of the whole world. We cannot do that.
Mr. Trump just tweeted, and I just want to read it to you, Grace, just to get your impression of this. Mr. Trump tweeted, "Look how bad it is getting. How much more crime, how many more shootings will it take for African Americans and Latinos to vote Trump?" And he said Trump equals safe. Just your reaction to that, Grace.
I mean, it's a continuous of a 15 months of campaigning that is ripping our community and our country apart. It's sound bites and pieces that are not coherent, that are not deep policy conversations, that of which we expect of a presidential candidate. And it continues to lay out who he really is, a xenophobic zealot that believes that this country is unsafe and not great. And from all of the sacrifices that my parents have made to come to this country to raise four daughters, 2 of them are U.S. citizens, that is such an affront to the vision that America has about ourselves. So I will not be sorry for Mr. Trump when he loses in November, and I will ensure that that happens.
And Betsy, I will say, what proof do you have that the majority of those 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States are committing crime? Or the majority of crime?
There's absolutely no suggestion that a majority of the people who have come here are committing crimes. No one would suggest that. And that is exactly why Donald Trump, just let me finish my sentence, that is exactly why Donald Trump has said the first priority will be to remove hardened criminals, build a wall, and stop the gangs and the drug trafficking from coming in here. That's exactly why he's made the distinction that you're using now to try and label him a flip-flopper. He is making priorities. The real flip-floppers are the Obama administration and Mrs. Clinton, who promised Americans illegals would not get health care benefits, and now they're getting them.
Just before we go, because I always like to put things in perspective. Since President Obama took office, 2.8 million people have been deported from this country. In 2015 alone, 235,000 people have been deported. So there are illegals being deported from this country already.
Good. No one suggested that wasn't happening.
You just did.
No, I didn't, but
Yes,
I said that Donald Trump would make it a top priority.
Okay.
Because we see people like Kate Steinle being murdered by illegal immigrants who are given one chance after another to get out of jail and commit another crime.
All right, I have to leave it there. Thanks to both of you. Betsy McCaughey.